channel all of the good Jimmer vibes right there. In fact, let's take it next level and have the 2011 Naismith Player of the Year join us, a man who dominated in Denver with BYU in March Madness. Jimmer Fredette is back on the show. Jimmer, how are you?
What's up, Jimmer?
I am great, fellas. How you guys doing? It's good to see you. It's a big week. Can't wait for it.
Couldn't be better with Denver, right? Like, that was the best case scenario for one, a Denver resident, and two, summon that 2011 mojo, right?
I was praying for it. I prayed very hard, and it ended up working. And we are pumped. We're going to the game for sure. I am, super excited. Obviously, last time I was there for the NCAA tournament was a great experience, and won both games and went on to the Sweet 16. So it's I'm hoping that that's gonna happen again.
Let's go. Jimmer Fredette is on BYU Sports Nation. What do you remember about the crowd and how that played into what BYU, led by you, were able to do in 2011? And I'm getting at how much of an impact can a crowd this year maybe have on this year's squad?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're going to have more fans, than VCU will. No disrespect to VCU. Obviously, a great program, and I'm sure they'll travel really well. But it's really close, obviously, to Utah, being out here towards the West Coast. And we have a lot of, BYU contingency here in Denver, where I live now. So I know the power of that. It's going to be an incredible crowd. There's going to be tons of some BYU fans there. So I think that, they'll have an advantage as far as that's concerned. I think it'll feel a little bit more like a home court advantage as far as that's concerned. But it's going to be an unbelievable game. And, crowds can shift games. They really can. It's a momentum builder, especially when you go on runs. You feel that momentum, and it continues to snowball. So it's definitely can be an impact. And, I think it would be obviously in the Cougars' favor here in Denver.
What have you noticed about this team that makes them more prepared, we feel, and maybe you feel that way too, to play in this game than any other BYU team maybe ever, because they played in the Big 12 and did so well this year?
Yeah, they're battle tested, right? Like, they've played against a ton of quad one teams. Generally speaking, back when I was there and other times, you weren't playing against quite as many quad one teams on a night in, night out basis. And that's what they deal with in the Big 12. So they're going to be ready for the talent level, obviously, that VCU has. VCU is going to present a problem, though. They're very, very good defensively. They're active. They steal the ball. They play up tempo. They can shoot the ball. So they're a typical VCU team, and they've had real success in the tournament. They've been to a Final Four, so they know how to win. They're a winning program. So it's definitely going to be a difficult game, but BYU has definitely been battle tested. They understand difficult games. They've been in a lot of close games this year, so that's probably going to happen in the NCAA tournament most of the time. So they're ready. It's just about who's playing well on Thursday night, and hopefully we can shoot the ball well.
All right, Jimmer, you, in a way, and your teammates back in 2011 came off a disappointing loss to a good San Diego State team. And at that time, you and your teammates called it a good reset to get right mentally for the tournament. This BYU team is kind of in a similar scenario. What specifically is being discussed and talked about as you try and get right mentally after not a great performance, knowing that you're going into the biggest tournament of the year?
Yeah, I mean, you have to realize, obviously, Houston's very good. They're one of the best teams in the country. They're one seed for a reason. Defensively, they're extremely good. It's actually, good to have played against Houston, who is such a good defensive team going into this VCU game. You've seen that type of, the defensive prowess that those guys have. It's going to be, a similar type of game with this VCU team. So I think that's a good, kind of setup for them. But, it's never fun to lose. It's never easy to lose, but also you can go back and look at what you did wrong, right? Like I said, you can go look at the film, see what gave BYU problems against Houston. Why was their defense so effective against our offense, and how do we attack that now? Especially, like I said, going into a game against VCU where you're going to have to figure out similar type of problems with guys that are just good defensive players. And they have a good scheme, and they're well coached. So that'll be good to check that film, see what they need to do better so that they can go out there and try to solve the problem, solve the issues that VCU is gonna present for them.
I think if BYU does not have back-to-back wedges, they win against VCU. That was like the weirdest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Walk
You don't
us through,
see that often.
right? Walk us through what this week is like as a player and as a team as you try and prep, but also you have open practice, you have open locker room interviews and whatnot. It's just a little different for the guys.
Yeah, no, it's very different. You're playing in an NBA arena, so it's different. The background is a little bit different. Depth perception, obviously, the open practice is much different. So you're not really getting a whole lot done in open practice. It's more of how the warm up, see how you feel on the court, get used to it. Get some shots up so that you can feel, what that feels like when you get out there. So it's not like a crazy practice. Not going to go through a lot of X's and O's and kind of the defensive scheme and all that stuff. That's all being done now before they get to Denver. So it's much more heightened. That's what it is. Everything is heightened. The media exposure is heightened. The arena size is bigger. There's more fans. There's just more security you have to go through. There's a ton of things that go on behind the scenes that you don't necessarily deal with when you just walk from your, apartment or dorm to the Marriott Center and play a game. There's a lot of logistics that go into it that feel a little bit different. It feels bigger because it is bigger. It's a bigger environment. Everyone's going to be watching. And you have to realize that, and you got to relish that as a player and understand that this is a big moment. And, the best players, relish those big moments. And I think that we have a couple guys and a team that can do that.
The great Jimmer Fredette is on BYU Sports Nation. Nerves are understandably a thing for this bracket, this tournament, and these type of games. But you have lived it multiple times, Jimmer. So what advice would you give to this team about working through the nerves that will almost assuredly be there, especially early in this game?
Yeah, I would try to, get a really good warm up in. I think one thing for me is I always tried to make sure before the game, I tried to get my first wind out as quickly as I could. Right. So I was trying to sprint, in the layup lines to get up and down just to feel the air and make sure that I, understood that energy that you have, it's going to be right from the beginning where you're going to feel way more tired than you usually do just because of the adrenaline. So trying to get out really early, sprint up and down the court the first couple of possessions, trying to get that first wind out, trying to get that adrenaline out as quickly as you can. And then once you do that, you can start settling down a little bit, get that second wind start to kick in, and you're able to kind of start playing your normal basketball game. But those first couple of shots you shoot, you probably shoot them a little bit longer just because of the adrenaline, the excitement, all those things. So getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line, getting open shots, and, making sure that you're not turning the ball over early, trying to get confidence and making sure you're getting at least shots off. So you're feeling the ball in your hand, you're feeling the shots, you're feeling comfortable. And then as you move forward, those shots will start going in. Hopefully they'll go in right from the beginning, but if they aren't, it's okay. Just calm down, make sure you get your second wind, get yourself ready. And, it's a long game, so you just got to prepare for that.
Winning's the most important thing, no doubt. But second would be making one shining moment. What is your advice to these guys to try and get in that montage? Because your junior year, you got fouled against Florida, and you just kind of you were like on the ground, just looking up at the camera, waving, which was hilarious. And then your senior year, I think against Florida, it's like the pull up with the taped chin from deep.
Yeah.
What's the key to making one shining moment, Jimmer?
Make a game-winning shot. I think if you do that, you're
just
obviously
that?
gonna
Okay.
just get it in. Just simple as that. Just make sure you make it if you have an opportunity. Jumping into the stands, that type of thing for a loose ball.
Yeah.
That'll probably get you in there. And then, anything that you do that's just kind of weird or awkward that people don't really see very much on a basketball court, usually gets some type of publicity. So I would definitely play for that. Play for the one shining moment, and everything else is secondary.
Kevin Nunn's like, ignore this.
Hey, the one shining moment you live on forever.
That's
right?
You're immortal.
Yeah.
You're immortalized.
Yeah, you're immortal. You can have that recorded, and people will see that forever. It's important stuff.
Jimmer Fredette on BYU Sports Station. We're going to wave goodbye to Jimmer now. We're going to wave.
Hey, by the way, I'm sure you and I are going to chat in Denver this week. We'll chat. We'll put it on the show. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey,
I
listen,
will be there.
I'm speaking this into existence. When BYU wins their first round game, I will see both of you for the second round game on Saturday, coming from Dallas on the Combine.
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
We will see you there on Saturday.
Yes.
We'll be there.
All right, Jimmer, thanks for the time.
Thanks,
man.
Jimmer.
Great
See you
to talk
guys.
to you.